Have you noticed oat milk just appearing, well, everywhere lately?
Right. Yeah.
In your local coffee shop, down basically every grocery aisle.
Mhm.
It really feels like it's exploded onto the scene.
Mm.
So, what if we told you this isn't just, some fleeting trend,
Right.
but actually a multi-billion-dollar global phenomenon and one that's experiencing truly explosive growth?
It's quite something.
Welcome to our deep dive. Today, we're going to unpack the global oat milk market.
That's right.
We're using some really comprehensive data projections, too, from cognitive market research. It covers everything from 2021 right through to 2033.
A good long view.
Exactly. And our mission today is simple. Cut through the noise, give you the really important nuggets of knowledge,
The key takeaways.
and show you exactly how this beverage that maybe seemed niche a few years ago, it's actually reshaping global markets and, daily habits, too.
Definitely.
Get ready for some, I think, surprising facts that will definitely make you look at your next latte a bit differently.
I think so, too.
Okay, so the big question right off the bat, given all this buzz, just how massive is this oat milk wave becoming?
Well, the numbers are pretty staggering, actually.
Yeah.
The global oat milk market, it was already pulling in over $2 billion back in 2021.
Okay, $2 billion. That's already substantial.
It is. But get this.
Hmm?
It's anticipated to hit over $3.3 billion by 2025.
Just next year, wow.
And then, this is the big jump, truly skyrocket to more than $8.6 billion by 2033.
$8.6 billion.
Mm-hmm. And this represents a really remarkable compound annual growth rate, the CAGR,
Right.
of nearly 12.6%, 12.573% to be precise.
Wow, over $8.6 billion by 2033. That's an astonishing leap.
It really is.
So for those of us maybe not tracking market growth every single day, what does a KGR, like almost 13%, what does that actually tell us about the speed and momentum here?
That's a great question. Because KGR can sound a bit abstract, right?
Yeah.
But think of it as the average yearly increase if the market kept growing steadily year after year. A number this high, nearly 13% year on year. It means we're talking about genuinely explosive growth. It's sort of self-accelerating.
So not just a blip.
Exactly. It's not just a one-off spike.
Yeah.
It really indicates a deeply rooted fundamental shift in consumer behavior
Right.
and market dynamics.
Yeah.
And it's gaining serious momentum globally.
Okay, so if this market is exploding on a global scale, where exactly is this growth brewing? Around the world, let's peel back the layers. Which parts of the globe are really leading this expansion?
Right. Well, what's truly fascinating here, I think, is the Asia-Pacific region.
Okay.
It's not just growing. It's showing explosive expansions.
Explosive.
Yeah. From just under $1 billion, about $938 million in 2021, it's projected to reach over $4.1 billion by 2033.
$4 billion, just in Asia-Pacific.
Just in Asia-Pacific. And it holds the highest TAGR of all regions, over 13.1%.
That is incredible growth. So when you dive into Asia-Pacific, I assume there are some big country stories driving that?
Absolutely. You see some absolutely massive individual country contributions. China, for instance.
Yeah.
Projected to go from roughly $282 million in 2021 to well over $1.2 billion by 2033.
Huge.
Massive. Japan's seeing substantial growth, too, from about $142 million to almost $508 million.
Wow.
And India, from nearly $95 million to over $473 million.
Okay.
But it's not just the giants, right? Countries like South Korea, Australia, Singapore, the wider Southeast Asian market, Taiwan, they're all contributing significantly to this really explosive regional rise.
So what do you think is driving such a dominant performance in Asia-Pacific specifically? What's the underlying story there?
Well, if we connect this to the broader picture, a lot of that explosive growth in Asia-Pacific seems linked to a rising health consciousness.
Okay.
And a cultural embrace, really, of plant-based options. This is often influenced by, environmental awareness, but also the huge adoption of global coffee culture.
Ah, right. The coffee shop effect. Exactly.
It's a region where dietary patterns are evolving really rapidly, and oat milk just fits perfectly into that shift, especially with a growing middle class looking for options that are seen as healthy and sustainable.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, let's shift focus a bit. North America, always a major player in new food trends. What's the story there?
North America is definitely another powerhouse. No surprise there, maybe.
Right.
Its market surged from around $448 million in 2021 to a projected $1.69 billion by 2033. So still very strong growth. The CAGR is impressive too, nearly 11.7%.
And leading the charge in North America, I mean, as you might expect if you've walked into any coffee shop recently,
Right.
is the United States. It's going from around $369 million in 2021 to an estimated $1.37 billion by 2033.
Big numbers.
Huge. Canada's also showing really robust growth from roughly $44 million to over $182 million. And Mexico, too, from almost $35 million to nearly $135 million. These are serious numbers for the continent. It really reinforces that plant-based options are, well, they're not niche anymore, are they? They're mainstream.
Absolutely. Fully mainstream. Now, moving across the Atlantic, Europe, it's also advanced significantly.
Okay, how's Europe looking?
From about $394 million in 2021 to over $1.5 billion projected by 2033.
So a similar scale to North America, roughly?
Oh, close, yeah.
Yeah.
And a strong CAGR, too, just over 12%.
Right. And within Europe, I bet we're seeing some interesting individual growth stories as well.
Definitely. The UK, for example, rose from around $56 million to nearly $229 million.
Wow.
Germany, even bigger numbers, from $78 million to over $327 million.
Okay.
France, from about $50 million to nearly $185 million. Italy, from around $40 million to $150 million. And beyond those, countries like Russia, Spain, Sweden, which is interesting given Oatly's origins,
Good point.
Denmark, Switzerland, Luxembourg, they're all contributing to that really robust growth across the European continent.
Yeah. Is there anything specific maybe in European consumer trends that makes their growth trajectories slightly different from North America's, based on the research?
That's an interesting angle. The European market, it often benefits from maybe a longer-standing emphasis on sustainable practices.
Right, yeah.
And ethical consumption. That naturally aligns really well with oat milk's eco-friendly profile.
Makes sense.
Plus, you have the established coffee culture, again, making oat milk an easy substitute. And there's often a stronger regulatory push towards plant-based agriculture in many parts of the continent, too.
Got it. Okay, so we've covered Asia Pacific, North America, Europe. It's clear this isn't just a Western phenomenon, though, right?
Not at all.
What about other growing regions? Are we seeing this same kind of adoption really globally?
Yeah, absolutely. If we connect this back to the bigger picture, the growth isn't isolated to just these major economic blocks.
Okay.
South America, the Middle East, and Africa are also showing very significant expansion. It really demonstrates truly global adoption.
So let's break those down. South America.
So South America. Revenue climbed from about $121 million in 2021 to over $520 million projected in 2033. That's a CAGR of almost 13%, actually slightly higher than Europe's.
Interesting. Any standouts there?
Brazil's a big one, projected to go from roughly $51 million to over $217 million.
Oh.
But you also see notable growth in Argentina, Colombia, Peru, and Chile. So widespread across the continent.
Okay. And the Middle East?
The Middle East region also saw a strong rise, from about $112 million in 2021 to over $476 million by 2033.
Another strong CAGR then.
Yep, nearly 12.8%. Saudi Arabia is a key player there, increasing from around $31 million to over $134 million.
Right.
And you also see growth in Turkey, the UAE, Egypt, and Qatar.
Fascinating. And finally, Africa.
Lastly, Africa. It saw significant growth, too, from nearly $71 million in 2021
to
almost $299 million by 2033. The CAGR there is over 12.1%.
Still very strong.
Very strong. Nigeria expanded from roughly $11 million to over $47 million, and South Africa rose from about $24 million to over $110 million. Key markets there.
So ultimately, what this entire picture paints for you, the listener, is a really clear trajectory, isn't it? Oat milk isn't just some niche product anymore. It's a global force. It's rapidly integrating into daily life right across continents.
That's the key message, yeah.
But with such explosive growth, especially in these, let's say, emerging markets for oat milk like South America, Middle East, Africa, are there any unique challenges or dynamics the source highlights compared to the more established ones?
That's a really great point to bring up, because while the growth is strong everywhere, these markets you just mentioned often face unique challenges, things like infrastructure for distribution.
Right, logistics.
Exactly. Varying levels of consumer awareness, maybe it's newer there, and different competitive landscapes too.
Sure.
However, what the data indicates is that the underlying demand is consistently overcoming these hurdles. It seems driven by a growing global understanding of plant-based nutrition benefits and just a desire for diverse dietary options. And that's what ultimately fuels that really impressive growth trajectory, even with those challenges.
Okay, so we've just taken quite a deep dive into the numbers here, and it seems crystal clear. Oat milk isn't just a fleeting trend. Not at all.
Definitely not.
It looks like a fundamental shift in consumer preference. And it's driven by these really powerful factors like sustainability, the growing embrace of plant-based options generally, and just broad global consumer demand that's really, really picking up steam.
Absolutely. From a market valued at just over $2 billion in 2021
Yeah.
to that projected $8.6 billion by 2033, the trajectory is just, well, it's undeniable.
Undeniable.
And the growth, crucially, it's not just concentrated in the major Western markets, it's truly global. With Asia Pacific, as we saw, impressively leading the charge.
Right.
But other regions rapidly catching up.
So maybe as you sip your next coffee or you're pondering your grocery list, remember, you're not just participating in a trend. No.
You're witnessing a multi-billion-dollar market transformation driven by these shifting values and this huge global demand.
That's happening right now.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other, maybe seemingly small shifts in consumer habits, what might actually be brewing into the next massive global market, transforming whole industries right before our eyes?
That's a fascinating question.
Something to chew on, perhaps, until our next deep dive.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into a part of the food world that's just, well, exploded lately, the global oat milk market. Our mission here is to really unpack what's behind its massive growth, look at some of the maybe unexpected challenges it's facing, and explore the trends shaping where it's headed. And just so you know, all the data and insights we're discussing today come from verified research by Cognitive Market Research.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. It's more than just, a fleeting trend. Oat milk's quick rise is quite the case study in how fast consumer habits can actually change. We're seeing so much innovation, too, which makes it a really dynamic category, almost like a signpost for the whole plant-based movement.
I totally agree. So, okay, let's start right there. What exactly is fueling this incredible growth? What made oat milk, take off like it has?
Well, a huge piece of it is this big global shift towards more plant-based eating. And that's often driven by health stuff. Things like lactose intolerance, dairy allergies becoming more recognized, plus just a general focus on, say, gut health. And oat milk kind of slots in perfectly there. It's naturally lactose-free, it's got a decent amount of fiber, no cholesterol. So it really appeals to that health-aware consumer.
That health connection is clear, but it's not just about personal health, is it? The whole environmental sustainability thing seems like a massive draw, too. I mean, how much of an advantage does it really have there?
Oh, the environmental side is a major selling point, and the data backs that up. It's a key reason for a lot of people choosing it. Basically, making oat milk uses way less water and land compared to dairy milk. We're talking like significantly less, maybe 80% less water than cow's milk. And actually less than almond milk, too, which surprises some people. That lower footprint really connects with consumers who care about ecological impact.
Wow, that's a really powerful difference. And then layered on top of that, you've got the whole rise of vegan and flexitarian diets, where more people are cutting back on animal products. Could be ethics, environment, health, or, a mix of all three.
Exactly. And oat milk just fits really easily into those choices.
But here's something I find really interesting, maybe a key accelerator. How it got picked up by cafes and the whole food service industry. That wasn't just luck, was it?
No, not at all. That cafe adoption was crucial. And it wasn't just because customers started asking for it, though that helped. It's also because baristas genuinely like working with it.
Yeah.
It has this naturally creamy texture, and it froths really, really well. Much better than a lot of other plant milks, frankly.
Ah, okay, so it performs well.
Yeah, that ability to make a great latte foam was a huge gateway. People tried it in a coffee shop, liked it, and then started buying it for home.
That makes so much sense. It explains that rapid visibility. And then there's been constant innovation too, right? Beyond just the basic stuff.
Definitely. Brands aren't just sitting still. We're seeing, different flavors pop up, chocolate, vanilla, coffee blends, that kind of thing. But also barista-specific versions, more fortified options, even exploring things like clean label versions with fewer additives. They're trying to broaden the appeal constantly.
Okay, so the growth drivers are pretty clear and strong, but, with rapid growth often come challenges. What are some of the speed bumps the oat milk market is hitting?
Well, a pretty immediate one is cost. Production costs tend to be higher. You see, dairy has this incredibly efficient infrastructure built up over decades. Oat milk production involves newer processes, specialized milling, enzymes, packaging that just cost more per carton right now.
Right, economies of scale aren't quite there yet.
Exactly. And that means it usually has a premium price tag on the shelf. That can definitely put off shoppers who are more budget-focused, especially when there are cheaper options right next to it.
Yeah, and speaking of other options, it's not like oat milk exists in isolation. It's a super crowded shelf, isn't it? The competition must be fierce.
Oh, absolutely fierce. The plant-based milk section is packed. You've got almond milk, soy milk, coconut milk. These are established players with loyal followings and long histories. So oat milk has to constantly fight for that shelf space and really highlight what makes it different to justify its place and often its price.
Makes sense. And okay, the last potential hurdle, nutrition. Even with improvements, it doesn't naturally match cow's milk in every single aspect, does it?
That's true. Oats themselves are great, good fiber source.
Yeah.
But naturally, oat milk is lower in protein and calcium compared to cow's milk. Now, manufacturers are working hard on fortification, adding calcium, vitamin D, B12, things like that. But, for someone looking for a complete one-to-one nutritional swap, especially maybe for kids, there might still be some hesitation. It's about awareness.
It's a balancing act.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears then and look forward. What are the key trends really shaping the future of oat milk? What's coming next? Well, one thing that's not going away is sustainability. It's becoming even more central. Brands are going beyond just the water usage aspect and investing heavily in things like eco-friendly packaging, fully recyclable cartons, exploring biodegradable materials. Some are even looking at using the oat byproducts. And this isn't just talk. It's a real response to what consumers, especially their core audience, value and increasingly demand. It influences their buying choices.
That deeper commitment is interesting. And what about growth? Is it still mostly in established markets, or is it expanding elsewhere?
We're seeing really notable expansion into emerging regions now, particularly in Asia-Pacific. Places like China and India are showing significant growth. It's driven by a mix of things there. Rising incomes, definitely growing health awareness, and sometimes cultural shifts or higher rates of lactose intolerance driving interest in plant-based alternatives. The scale of those markets offers huge potential.
Okay. And connecting back to the nutrition point, that push for fortification, is that intensifying?
Yes, very much so. Manufacturers are getting quite strategic about it. They're focusing on adding those key nutrients, calcium, vitamin D, vitamin B12, where plant-based diets sometimes need a boost. The aim is twofold: bridge that nutritional gap we talked about, but also make it a more compelling option for a broader range of people, like families or those with specific dietary needs. Make it an easier switch.
Right, removing barriers. And finally, what about how people are actually buying it? E-commerce and direct-to-consumer seems like a big shift.
Oh, it's huge. It's really changing the game. Brands are using online grocery platforms, obviously for convenience, but also selling direct-to-consumer DTC lets them offer maybe niche flavors or special editions that wouldn't get wide retail distribution. Plus, it enables things like subscription models, builds a direct customer relationship. It just opens up access way beyond the traditional supermarket shelf.
So we've covered quite a bit today in this deep dive, looking at the really powerful forces driving oat milk's popularity, the significant challenges it's navigating, and these dynamic trends pushing it forward.
Yeah, and what's really striking, I think, is how this whole oat milk story isn't just about a drink. It really reflects these much bigger shifts in what consumers care about: health, definitely sustainability, ethics, lifestyle choices. It shows just how quickly industries can adapt or have to adapt when those core values change.
That's a great point. And maybe a final thought for you listening. As we see plant-based options like oat milk continue to evolve and grow, how might that reshape not just our food systems, but maybe our broader consumer expectations in the years ahead? What could that mean for other industries that are also trying to adapt to these changing priorities? Definitely something to think about.